Kmu Media.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kmu Pod Live Cast. I'm your host, Ricky Jabruggi, and joining me back again this week, Janine. How's you feeling this week?
Hey, Ricky. I'm feeling much better this week. He didn't miss the last week, but that headache was a killer.
I bet. And I see my brothers in the house. There's Ellen Dodson, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights.
Janine, you made the people see my face. You got to stay healthy.
Hey, I tried, but you know.
We had so many emails of complaining.
Yeah, right.
Real quick before we get started, I know most of our viewers are in the Kansas area, and we are all kind of watching the sky tonight. So just let us know how things are in your area weather-wise, and if you hear any sirens or run. Definitely a lot of activity going on in the state of Kansas. But yeah, that's all I wanted to kind of say. I know that we have a lot of people watching, but just be careful, be diligent, watch, but also look up every once in a while.
We just got light rain going on here. Nothing major.
Yeah, I know we've had a little bit of a thunderstorm, but nothing really that I thought was going to be headed this way, which is fine. I'm more than fine with that.
And I'm sure meteorologist Terry Jabruggi will let us know about any watches or warnings. He's a weather bug.
Right. Okay. So that's your job then tonight to make sure that we're all right. Let's see. There's Christopher and Rodney and Kelly.
Yep. And Daniel Berry Sports Highlights.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind thunderstorms, but I don't want to see any tornadoes. Or if it's going to be that way, I want it to happen when it's daylight out, not when it's dark.
Right.
I want to be able to see it.
Well, I saw the word today, gorilla hail. I was like, what does that mean?
I saw that in that screenshot you sent, and I was like, what in the world is gorilla hail?
So we looked it up this afternoon, and evidently it is like about baseball size. Which I don't know why they don't just say baseball size hail, but
yeah,
gorilla hail makes it seem really scary.
It does. It makes it sound like big, monstrous, huge hail. It's like, okay.
Yeah, someone sent me a meme that it has all of these gorillas being hailed out of the sky.
Right.
It is scary. Like 2 summers ago, Norm said that some large hail actually went through his roof and then actually into his like living area. It went through everything. So it's when the hail's that big, definitely I think go shelter. Like your house might not go to an inner room or something. But we're gonna go ahead and get the show started. We got quite a few people watching tonight. We're gonna go over our cold case flyers here. These are all flyers that Ricky has made over the years. Some of them he's made recently, but the cases are all old enough to be considered cold. And tonight we are going to focus a little bit on the Garden City area. We have a few out of that area, but we do have quite a few from the Garden City area. We want to definitely shed a light on some of the stuff that's going on there.
Oh, yeah. Just everybody stay safe out there.
Definitely. Okay. You want me to start? You want to start?
Yeah, you can if you want to.
Okay. This is John Beckstrom on May 25th in 2012 at 10:30 p.m. Officers here were dispatched to the intersection of North Taylor Avenue and Jenny Avenue for a reported injury accident. When they got on scene, they found a man lying on the road near a Harley Davidson motorcycle. That was John Beckstrom. He was 37 years old. He had sustained a severe head injury and was flown to Via Christi Hospital in Wichita. The information that they got from witnesses on the scene at the time was that there was a hit and run accident. The vehicle that they found involved was believed to be a light blue 4-door Honda passenger car that sits low to the ground and possibly had rims. On June 6th of 2012, John died from his injuries. Following the accident, the officers conducted countless interviews and thoroughly investigated tips from Crime Stoppers on social media, but no arrests have ever been made. This is a case that was previously closed and that has been reopened to see if they could generate more interest. So I don't know if that means they've gotten more evidence or, kind of what they've looked at with that. But if you have any information on this, you can call or text with any information that you may have. If you witnessed the incident or if you have any kind of information related to it, you can call the Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300. If you want to remain anonymous and you don't feel comfortable giving your name, you can call Crime Stoppers at 620-275-7807 or text your tip to Garden City Police Department at GC Tip and your tip to tip 411. I do know that there is a reward out for anybody that can bring information forward for the conviction of whoever was involved in this. I know his family is just desperately in need of some answers. It's been a long time that this has been going on and a long time to wait with, no answers of what happened to John. So any information that you can give would be great. And anything can be helpful for this case.
Oh, definitely.
I was thinking all day of what I wanted to say on this case, and I think what I've landed on is the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony. I understand if you get in an accident and somebody gets hurt, you freak out, you want to take off, but just take ethics out of it. First of all, ethically you should stay there, but just on staying afloat, a misdemeanor versus a felony. You leave a scene of a crime, way different ball game, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder what's going through somebody's mind. Or, you would think at some point that they would want to come back and say, look, I ran because I was, really concerned and scared, but now I'm going to step up and do the right thing.
And it could be other things. They could have known they had a warrant. They could have had a suspended license, something like that too.
Well, just last week, that girl got killed by that jet ski in Corpus Christi, and they manhunted the passenger that was in the jet ski that hit her, jumped off and said, "I'm staying here to talk to the police." The driver got out of there, and she was handcuffed and taken into, and it's a different charge than the girl that jumped off. I promise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't get the more. That's what a lot of people don't get. The more cooperative you are, the better off you are.
Yeah.
All right, and this is one that I just did last night. I was telling Janine and Derek before the show that there's an organization in Kansas City called Corey's Network that was started by a lady who had a son named Corey. That for a long time her son Corey's son, homicide was unsolved for a long time, and it was recently solved. But she has this organization where she helps other families in similar situations that have lost loved ones to violent crime, and somebody from that group got a hold of me last night, and so far they've had me do 2 flyers so far, this one and one more, which will be on after this one. But I don't mind doing those, whatever we can do to help get some justice for these folks. And this one's Dylan Hill. This is December 11, 2018, Kansas City, Missouri. Approximately 11 p.m., officers of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department were dispatched to the area of 80th Terrace and James A. Reed Road in Kansas City, Missouri on a reported sound of shots call. Upon arrival, officers discovered Dylan Hill inside his truck with apparent gunshot wounds to his body. Kansas City Fire Department EMS responded to the scene and declared Dylan deceased. Dylan was 26 years old, was married, and had 2 small children. If you'd like to remain 100% anonymous, please submit information to the Greater Kansas City Crime Stoppers at 816-474-8477 or kccrimestoppers.com, the P3 app, where you can scan that Say It Here QR code in that Crime Stoppers banner down there. There is also a reward of up to $30,000 cash available for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Dylan's murder. So let's see what we can do to help get some information generated in his case and get some justice for his family and friends.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sized reward. So hopefully,
Yeah.
Maybe that will give people some incentive to reach back out.
And according to this lady, she sent me a screenshot from, I think it was Fox 4 News, I believe. Apparently, more FBI agents are being sent to Kansas City to help try to solve more of these cases.
That's great. Maybe they can, with the increased presence, that they can kind of help figure some of those out.
No, I hope so.
I think a lot of it has to do with like AI is a thing now, and like I've seen a lot of articles about it's not like AI can tell you this person did it, but you can just take so much information and dump it in there, and it can put it in a way that you can read it cohesively, and it's not daunting, and it's a lot easier to maneuver and work with. I think AI is going to find a lot of missing people, and it's going to put a lot of dirtbags behind bars. I just think like with all the technology we have, I think every day that goes by, it's dumber and dumber to break the law. They're watching you.
It was actually KCTV5, and what she sent me was a screenshot statement from the police department there, Jackson County prosecutor. And the statement, the headline says FBI plans to send dozens of agents to Kansas City. The statement says, with the FBI's specialized expertise and resources, our local law enforcement agencies will have more support, allowing our office to charge cases quicker and secure convictions in cases that might otherwise remain unsolved. So that's from the Jackson County prosecutor, Melissa Johnson.
I think that would be, just having more people to be able to do the footwork on the cases is huge. And Derek, I think you're right. AI, I think, is a game changer for things.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so many different things you can do with it.
Yeah. It also can be, in my opinion, and what I've been thinking about is it also could be troublesome for me as far as making flyers with, kids changing their appearance and stuff and getting sent those pictures to use for flyers. And it just, it worries me. It's something I think about.
Janine, we're going to keep you in Garden City.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Derek?
We're going to keep you in the Garden City area. Well, this case says Ulysses, but Garden City's mentioned.
Okay. Awesome. All right. This is Alexander Perez. He's been missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. At the time that Alexander disappeared, he was 35. He's now 39 years old. 5'11", 235 pounds, with black hair and sometimes bald. He has brown eyes. He contacted a family member by telephone on December 1st and advised he would be coming to their home to wash clothing items, but he never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses. Alexander has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since this date. Alexander has been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It is believed that Alexander may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City, Kansas, or surrounding area. At the time he disappeared, he was 35 years old. He's now 39. Again, he's 5'11" tall and weighs 235 pounds. He has black hair that he shaves nearly bald with brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face beneath his left eye, and he has Perez tattooed on one of his arms, and he also has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. You can see the pictures of his tattoo and the 2 pictures below on the bottom of the flyer. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500, or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. I know that this is an interesting case too, because I know that they did a lot of information. They did a lot of searching in Garden City area in a location where they actually looked at excavating some of the area to see kind of what they could find there. But I don't know that they've ever found anything in that area. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So, hey, Scott. Hey, Aurelia.
Ricky, I still have the last voice memo he sent to our source. You want me to play that?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
I don't know, man. I'm supposed to be going back early morning to go get some shit and then go get some other stuff down there and bring it back down here, but I don't even know, man. It's been wild down here. It's been crazy. Fucking been held at gunpoint and robbed and tried to beat me up. Fucking, it's a bunch of crazy shit going on in GC, man.
That's crazy.
Definitely something going on.
Yeah, that's my daughter Aurelia.
Yeah, I saw the high dad down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad on the recording that he didn't say who had been, held at that point, trying to rob him, beat him up.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't know. We've talked about this a long time. We haven't brought it up before, but I've heard from some sources, and I think it even maybe says on the flyer. I'm not sure because it all gets lost to me, but he was, from my understanding, was acting as an informant, which in layman terms, nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to become an informant. Usually you get in trouble and they dangle things like your freedom, your friends and family over your head. And then you're like, okay, I'll wear a wire. So if that was true, if he was an informant, I could see him not being stoked about that. I could see him also not being surprised about what was going on. And I could also see him being well-trained not to say things in certain areas. I mean, there is a code in the streets, and it's, I don't agree with like what it's used for, but like, I wish everybody had a backbone like some of these people have in the street. They're just like, I will never tell a soul because that's the code, So like, I think a lot of it is he's not somebody who normally would just say names like that, just because it's dangerous to say certain names out loud. And it didn't matter. He didn't say them, and it didn't matter. And I agree with you. I wish he would have, because the outcome that happened. But yeah, I think a lot of that has to do, like when I hear him talk, I just hear somebody who is definitely between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. It's a very good point of, not saying anything about it, but it's just if they would just say, or just give a little bit more of a clue. But yeah, I can understand that. And I think that's a scary place to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just went to ChatGPT. I've never done this. It says AJ Perez, 35 years old, from Ulysses, Kansas, was reported missing. Last heard from December 1st. Mentions plans to do. Let me see here. It says in 2021, the Grant County Sheriff sought assistance from the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. After foul play, authorities believe Perez was killed around December 6th in Finney County. On December 27th, Oscar Corrales, 44, of Garden City, was arrested on charges including second-degree murder, racketeering, and drug-related offenses. Corrales was already in custody on unrelated charges at the time of his arrest. Despite his arrest, Perez remains have not been located. The investigation remains active. And then we had our source call in maybe 2 months ago, and said that those charges were being like lifted from Oscar. And obviously didn't give like any reasoning, but I think he has a bunch of other charges he's dealing with right now. But I think they did lift that off of him. But then there was also multiple times that there were searches done out there. What's that road called out there, Janine?
Burnside Drive.
Yeah, there's been multiple
Burnside off Telegram, I think.
Yeah, there's been multiple times that the authorities have been out there and looking around and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Plus, like, I won't go too far in this, but there was like some social media stuff that was shared to me and Ricky years ago that was really wild to see. I think kind of like we were talking about with John Beckstrom, like I bet you, like on a lot of these cases, the police have like the person that did it as one of their top suspects, but in America, you have to prove beyond a shot. I'm glad that if somebody ever tries to pin me on something, that they're gonna have to really fight to prove something if I didn't do it. But in America, you have to be able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that somebody did something. So it's like, I don't know, it's frustrating, but the cops probably know, or at least have a good hunch on who did a lot of things, you know. But unless you have, like in this case, like a body or just some kind of physical evidence that could directly tie somebody, approaching that and trying to try them like that could be dangerous. Like, I don't even know, like, do you know, Ricky, since I don't know if they took him to, they put his name in the paper and suspected him of murdering Alexander Perez. So could they retry him, or would that be double jeopardy since they took it off of him? You know, like, I think anytime you make a move, the cops, you know, and I think most cops are very good at what they do, and that's why they move as slow as they do sometimes at a glacial pace. Have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, because you get one chance, I'm pretty sure. So family members, friends of these victims and stuff, it's frustrating, but in the end, you want law enforcement to take as long as it takes, because you want them to get it done right, you know.
I believe the terminology, I think they would have to drop the charges. What is that terminology? I just had on without prejudice. If they drop the charges without prejudice, that means they can go back and refile should they, you know, come up with more evidence to prove. So I would think they would have dropped the charges without prejudice to leave the door open for refiling later, I would think.
Yeah. And they do that kind of stuff a lot, just because that way, if they, you know, get more evidence later, or they figure out kind of, you know, more things that they can do, then they can bring those back up.
Norm just clarified. So you can recharge people, but you can't retry people. So that's you can't take them to trial again. But anyway, if anybody out there has any information,
thank you, Norm.
You can just probably call Garden City Police Department. I mean, there's all those numbers. Just call Garden City Police Department. They have a non-emergency line. Call crime. Whatever you got to do. But enough's enough. It's been 5 years. Let's get Alexander to a proper burial place, if that's what his fate is. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I firmly believe that somebody out there knows something. It's just a matter of doing the right thing, speaking up, and calling it in. You know. Yeah. And this is the other one. This is the one I finished literally right before the show. Yeah, this one was literally right before the show that I did that one. I hope I say this right. Terrell K. T.J. Jackson. This is July 30th, 2024, Avondale, Missouri, which is just a small town right outside Kansas City, Missouri. He was shot in an apparent drive-by shooting. Multiple 911 calls started coming in at 9 p.m. about the sound of shots fired in the area. Shortly thereafter, a caller reported someone had been shot in the 3200 block of Northeast Excelsior Street. The victim, Terrell Jackson, was transported to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Investigators have identified a suspect vehicle, which you can see below. The vehicle appears to be a dark blue or black 1996 to 1998 Chevy Silverado Z71 4x4 with the driver's side headlight out, which in the one picture it looks like it's clearly visible. If anybody has any information that can help solve Terrell Jackson's murder, please call Crime Stoppers at 816-474-8477, or you can go to the kccrimestoppers.com, the P3 Tips mobile app, or again, you can scan that Say It Here QR code there on the banner and submit your tip. That way it'll take you to a form to fill out to submit your tip. So, anybody has any information, please go ahead and get that relayed to them so they can, get some justice for Terrell and his family and friends.
I've called Crime Stoppers before in the past, and you can do the whole like *7 or whatever, so it blocks your number. And then the only reason, like, it's at the end of a call, they'll be like, if you want to give your name and your tip leads to something, there'll be reward money. But if you just want to give the tip and walk away, just hang up and pretend it never happened. So like, they do give you all the way until the very end of the process if you want to tell them your name, if the money could help, or if you're just like, yeah, I'll do, I don't care if you give my name, but they will not, like, it's a phone call. You can just hang up at any time, but they basically at the end just say, yeah, you can just hang up. If you want the prize, just give us like a name and contact number, and they give you a number, like a reference number, and that's just your reference number. It's not that scary. They don't see you. Yeah, you can call Crime Stoppers and not give your name. 100%.
Right.
Well, and they're not really concerned so much about people who call in and who it is that's calling in. They want the tip to be able to look and say, okay, this is how they can maybe solve a homicide or find somebody. They're not looking to see, who's calling it in. They're wanting to actually get the evidence of what's going on behind the cases. It makes a big difference. But I think there's always some of that skepticism to see if something is actually anonymous or not.
Yeah. I called them one time. I didn't have to give them my name. They're like, just hang up. I was like, bye. That was it.
That works.
Yeah. Tell us about Caden, Janine.
So this is Caden Zubler. He's been missing from Topeka, Kansas since May 15th of this year. Caden is 25 years old. He's 5'10" tall, weighs 170 pounds, with dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. He was last seen walking north at 17th and Topeka Boulevard at Topeka at 7:15 p.m. on May 15th. If you have any footage of Caden in any areas of Topeka Boulevard, Central Park area, downtown Topeka or North Topeka, please don't wait for the police to request it. Please call 911 immediately to report it. He is not known to be on any hard drugs. He has not been diagnosed with any mental health illnesses, and he has never been violent or aggressive. Caden has never expressed any thoughts of harming himself either. So he is respectful and polite and very independent. Caden will respond to his nickname, Zoob. This can be used to verify his identity. He was last seen wearing a red t-shirt, blue jeans, and red Under Armour shoes like the ones in the picture seen above. If you have any information regarding Caden's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. There is a $5,000 cash reward being offered for information leading to Caden's safe return to his family. As you can see, the pictures above and the pictures below give you some other information. The ones down on the bottom were his pictures that were done 4 days prior to when he disappeared. And then up above too in the pictures, you can see the clothing that he was wearing on the day that he disappeared.
Yeah, last night I did this rewrite on the flyer with his family's input. I've been working very closely with them on his flyer, and this is like the third rewrite. We rewrote it a little bit to make a little more room at the bottom for the pictures in the blue. This kind of gives you more accurate. Just look at his hairstyle that he's got since he's been missing. That was what his hair would look like since he's been missing down there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Justice for Cynthia Renee Gonzalez is in the chat. She's saying Caden has been spotted several times over the weekend in Topeka, according to the scanner page.
Okay. I wonder why they haven't been able to track him down yet.
Yeah, maybe he's still in that area and they can find him pretty soon.
I mean, but you think about it, like how many times do you see somebody and then 3 seconds later people move, you can get pretty far pretty quickly.
This is going on week 2 coming up. Yeah. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks.
It's just good that people are seeing him, and it sounds like they're seeing him and still in one piece, looking good, so like maybe that means we're gonna find him soon, get him to where he needs to be, and won't be so scary.
Yeah, exactly. So
she said there's another flyer form as well, which I've seen. Yeah.
Nice. We have 2 kiddos here. Yikes.
Yeah, this one is one of those cases. It's Graciana Harris and Joseph Harris. They're missing from Topeka, Kansas since May 14th, 2025. Graciana is 7. She's 4 foot tall, 50 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Joseph is 13 years old, 5'2", 100 pounds, dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. It's believed that they're with her non-custodial father, William Harris. He's last known to be driving a 2007 black Nissan Versa with a 30-day temporary license plate. Let's see, Williams described as 40 years old, 6 foot tall, 150 pounds, dark brown hair, and typically has a short mustache. If anybody's seen them or know where they are, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get Graciana and Joseph located and back to where they need to be. Not that I have seen yet. I haven't been notified that they've been found safe yet. I see Justice for Cynthia Renee Gonzalez is saying she thought they were found. Like I said, not that I'm aware of.
Be nice to get a picture of William.
Do what?
It would be nice if we had a picture of William too, to be able to show what he looks like.
Yeah.
8 more people missing as of last week's show. 6 kiddos and 2 more adults.
I'm going to check and see if they're still listed on KBI or not real fast here. My phone would be cooperative.
Those numbers are terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Karen's asking, how do you get people to talk? All I ever get is lies, threats, and those who are scared. Her daughter disappeared in Casey.
Yeah.
Karen,
sorry about that, Karen.
Email me, Karen. I can
That's Jody Ledkins' mom.
Okay.
I'll make my name my email address. Just email me. How you do it is if you're really close to it, nobody's ever going to talk to you. You just got to talk to people, make them feel comfortable, and after a while, they forget they're talking to somebody out loud. People say stupid stuff all the time and get themselves in trouble. Hit me up. I know a lot of people that use just hit me up. Maybe I can help you.
Graciana and Joseph are still listed as missing on KBI, so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know their flyers going like off the hook crazy with shares. Last I looked, it was over 1,700 shares.
Justice for Renee says there's a Facebook page and a blog.
For the kids?
Oh, make a Facebook
page. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, Misunderstood.
Much like the account she's commenting from, that is a page obviously dedicated for, Cynthia Renee Gonzalez. I think those Facebook pages are so awesome. A lot of people will go, like I'm saying, I tell Ricky all the time, there's some Facebook groups that like Dietrich Foster, we're not covering him this week. We'll cover him again soon. We're going to rotate all of our regulars, but Dietrich Foster has a Facebook page or group, and I rarely tell people about it because if you just go to the comment, there's some wild allegations flying. Now, if you're the police, you got to be eating it up, But some of these Facebook, I think I agree with the creator of Justice for I agree. Start a Facebook page. People will type the darndest things when they're just sitting at their house. They'll just type the darndest things onto the public internet. So I think that's a great idea. We're going to go back to the Western Kansas area, Lakin, Kansas. Now, this is a case. I was living in Garden City around this time, and I didn't hear about it. So Ricky's taught me a lot about this case over the years. But go ahead, Janine.
Yeah, this is a case that I remember when this happened. So this is Stephanie Welch from Lakin. She went missing on February 22nd of 2001. At the time that Stephanie disappeared, she was 23, and now she's 47. She is 5 foot 8 inches tall, 190 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. So she went to drop off her youngest son at his daycare at approximately 9:15 that morning on February 28th, 2001. She had dropped her older child off earlier at preschool. The authorities believe she drove back to the mobile home that she was preparing to vacate shortly afterwards. Stephanie may have returned to the property to remove some of her and her children's personal belongings, but she's never been heard from again. She was engaged to Roy Moore in early 2001 and was planning to move out of her mobile home and into his house. So she was driving his silver 1990 Mazda 626 at the time of her disappearance. Moore's vehicle was discovered abandoned in the private driveway of a mobile home park in southeast Lakin at approximately 11 o'clock a.m. Witnesses said there was an unidentified man dressed in black walked away from the car shortly afterwards. Authorities do not believe Stephanie knew anyone inside the park and theorize that somebody else drove Moore's car to the location. Her jacket and her wallet, which contained $500, were discovered on the front seat of the vehicle. The wheel wells were covered in snow and mud. Someone drove the car for miles before parking it in the driveway. Moore picked up Stephanie's son from the daycare after she failed to return by 6 o'clock p.m. He learned that his vehicle had been abandoned earlier in the day after reporting Stephanie's disappearance later during the evening. An extensive search of the area produced no clues to where she would have been at. Investigators believe that she may have been murdered between the time she dropped off her son and the time Moore's vehicle was discovered. Authorities said that her remains could have been hidden in numerous locations. Several abandoned wells are scattered throughout the area. The man who was seen leaving her car is considered the prime suspect in her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Stephanie's disappearance or know of her whereabouts, please call the Kearney County Sheriff's Office at 620-355-6211 or the KBI at 800-572-7463. I know there's been a lot of speculations that she might be in one of the wells around that area, but there's so many different places, and after all of this time, I don't even know what they would find. And there's been a lot of speculation as to who the guy was that they would consider as a prime suspect that took the car and moved it. But this has been a lot of years.
Yeah, for sure.
I've heard that theory about the wells, like for like a ton of cases over my whole life. Like, oh, they're in a well, they're in a well. I was asking a farmer chick the other day. She was saying, because I talked to oil people, and a lot of oil people said, yeah, they exist, but they're so narrow that like getting a body down there would be a messy job, basically. But then I talked to a farmer, and she's like, no, there's other kinds of wells that are easy to throw a body down. And I was like, well, how deep are they? Because oil wells are very deep. And I was like, they're like, oh, like 1,300. I don't know what they said. They said something 100 feet. And to me, it didn't seem that far. Like, so my question is like, how hard is it to get into these wells? How hard is it? I mean, because obviously you just get like I found out there's drones that go underwater. What the heck? Like they found a car with a body in it on YouTube the other day with a drone that goes underwater. So like with technology, you could just simply drop. You could super glue a rope to your iPhone, turn the light on, and turn the camera on, just stick it down each well. If you see anything fishy, call the police. Like, how hidden are these wells? You know, like if they're oil wells, then I think they're massively far down there. You have to have a lot of rope to get your iPhone down there. But if it's just like a couple hundred feet, maybe 1,500 feet, I don't know how far that is because I didn't graduate. But it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to just, you know, go through and look in every one of these supposed holes that people talk about.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see, you know, what kind of technology they actually use to do it, you know. And I don't know what the status of this case even is as far as the sheriff department is concerned with that, you know, or I would imagine that they still look for tips and things like that, but I don't know how actively that they search on this case any longer.
This is one I added back in today. I just updated his flyer this afternoon between appointments. This one's Alex Michael Head, missing from Dickinson County, Kansas since January 15, 2019. He's 33 when he was missing. He's now 40. 5'10", 134 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Alex was last seen driving a silver 2002 Dodge Durango with a broken headlight and a United States Air Force sticker on the back window, which you can see down there at the bottom. Alex mainly drove back roads rather than the highways. Alex's last known location was the Chapman Enterprise, Kansas area. And when he went missing, he was 33. He would now be 40. 5'10", 135 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Dickinson County, Kansas Sheriff's Office is 785-263-4081 or 785-263-4041, or you can call a tip in anonymously at 1-888-535-8477 or the p3tips.com or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Alex located and back to where he needs to be. And as far as I know, the vehicle has never been located either.
Makes you wonder where he's at.
Yeah.
I remember covering this case. I had forgot about it, but yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I dusted it off and updated the age now on it today. And okay, let's get him back in there. It's been a while.
Justice for Cynthia was asking, I don't know, did they ever release the name of the person that moved the car in the Stephanie Welch thing?
Not that I have ever seen.
No.
We're going to go to this next case, and we're going to go to endangered runaways, but Janine's going to tell you all about Yolanda Hernandez. This is a very interesting case from 1992. I actually read about this like many years ago on like a blog or something, or a long time ago, like 15-20 years ago, but they didn't have any pictures. And even today, I remembered her name and I looked it up, and like all like the major websites don't have any picture for Yolanda. So tonight when I came into the studio, I saw this flyer. I was like, oh my gosh, Ricky has pictures of her. But yeah, this is an interesting case. Janine's going to tell you all about it.
Yeah, I remember when this case happened, that Yolanda went missing. And from any indication that I've always heard is she was just a nice person. And, you know, her family was just devastated when this happened, like any family is. But this is Yolanda Hernandez. Yolanda's been missing from Garden City since September 10th of 1992. At the time that she disappeared, she was 24. She would be now 57. Yolanda was 5'3" tall, 135 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. And on June 29th, 2001, a jawbone was actually found by a citizen around the Arkansas River near the bridge, like near Pierceville, Kansas. FBI Texas were concluded, and they discovered in December 2003 that the jawbone was indeed Yolanda's. Her husband, Manuel Hernandez, was charged for her murder in 2002, but the Finney County District Judge, Thomas Richardson, didn't find any probable cause to bind him over for arraignment. So he was then deported to El Salvador after the murder charges were dismissed because of prior convictions. Manuel cannot be extradited back to the United States now or to be charged with any crime until new evidence can be found in Yolanda's case. Since the human remains were found, Finney County Sheriff's deputies have searched the banks of the Arkansas River for additional remains, but they've not ever found anything. At the time, Garden City Police Department Captain Mike Utes said if people found what they believe to be human remains, they should leave the remains where they are and contact law enforcement officials immediately. If you have any information or know of anybody that has information regarding Yolanda's disappearance, please call Crime Stoppers at 620-275-7807, the Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300, or the Finney County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-272-3700, or you can contact the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. It would be nice to have some information, where maybe the rest of her remains are. It's really interesting that the only thing that they could find was her jawbone. So it just kind of, you think it's, the jawbone's in the riverbed. Where are the rest of her remains at?
The bad part about that being found in that area is, as bad as it sounds, wildlife could have grabbed them and spread them far and wide. That's the bad part.
Yeah. But
as far as the photos go, I had somebody message me a few years ago and asked me if I could make one for her. And I said, well, I could if I had photos, because I didn't have any photos. KBI doesn't have photos. And they actually messaged me the photos. That's how I got them.
Yeah, it's nice to have those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can just remember all of the searching that they did to try and find her. It's too bad that the judge didn't go ahead and bind him over for arraignment.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the thought process was behind that. And Judge Richardson has since passed away.
Oh, wow.
So he passed away a year, 2 years ago.
I see Ellen Dodson saying Dana Bruce has a tribute page. What, if you can give me the name of it or URL, I can sure link it in the comments to her flyer for sure. And then my brother's saying no severe weather warnings currently in effect in Kansas. There's a handful of counties in the southern and the southwestern Kansas currently, severe thunderstorm and tornado watches. Be safe, folks.
We are moving into endangered runaway cards. Please share the show. Got about 8 flyers left, and we also have to show you with some located safe flyers that Ricky did. Quite a few this week as well.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot this week.
I like
Okay.
the located safe ones.
Yeah, me too. This is Valen Wood, missing from Chinook, Kansas since May 27th, 2025. That's yesterday. She's 15, 5 foot tall, 150 pounds, light red or auburn hair and blue eyes. It's believed she may be with Elena Harvey, who is also considered to be a missing and endangered runaway. They were last seen in a black 2020 Kia Sedona. Elena was driving. And Valen's 15, 5 foot tall, 150 pounds, light red or auburn hair and blue eyes, and she does have a nose piercing. If you have any information regarding Valen's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Chinook, Kansas 911 Communications Center at 620-431-5768 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Valen and Elena located and back to where they need to be.
Sorry about that. I have a little help here. Yeah, that's a brand new one. So yeah, hopefully they'll find her quickly.
Yeah, my brother says photos are essential. Ricky and I have long been trying to find a photo of Nellie Hubbard. If anybody can help with that, please let us know. Definitely. I've been searching high and low and just nothing. Just nothing. I even contacted a detective down here at the Solana Police Department, and he said there was nothing usable on file. So that's where that is.
You never know with some of the information. Maybe it would be, maybe be able to find some of it now with even through ChatGPT or some of those.
Yeah.
This is Elena Harvey from Chinook, Kansas, missing since May 27th of this year. She's 16 years old, 5 foot 4 inches tall, weighs 141 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. It is believed that Elena may be with Valen Wood, who is also considered to be missing. That's the individual that Ricky just covered. They were last seen in a black 2020 Kia Sedona that Elena was driving. Elena suffers from mental health issues and does not have her required medication with her. So she wears her hair in a messy bun. She has a nose piercing and occasionally wears black glasses. She was last seen wearing a tan t-shirt, gray sweatshorts, and white sneakers. If you have any information regarding Elena's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please contact the Chinook, Kansas 911 Communications Center at 620-431-5768 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Let's get Elena and Valen both back home where they need to be.
Right. And the information I have is the vehicle that they were last seen in, they did not have permission to take. So,
Terry, you're right. I don't either. How they wouldn't have a photo on file of somebody in an unsolved homicide. It does not make any sense at all. You would think that would be one of the first things that they would want to do.
Yeah.
Is have those. So they either don't have it or they're not willing to share them.
That's a possibility too. But at least I was able to, in Nellie Hubbard's case, able to land the actual, photos of the actual lighter that was found under her body that they recovered when they rolled her body over. And they don't believe it was hers because she didn't smoke, didn't have a reason to own a lighter. So I believe it belongs to the perpetrator.
Yeah. It's a rather unique looking lighter as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So which is kind of okay.
All right. And this one is Destiny Farrell McManus. Missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 24th, 2025. She's 16, 5'6", 115 pounds, blonde hair, brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. If you have any information regarding Destiny's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9254 or 316-263-4011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Destiny located and back to where she needs to be.
She looks really young.
Yeah.
It's been a few days. Hopefully she's somewhere safe and we can get her back home.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to move into the out of states.
This is Nariah Morris from Raytown, Missouri. She's been missing since May 19th of this year. She's 16 years old, 5'3" tall, 120 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. She was last known to be in the 11,400 block of East 62nd Street in Raytown. She was last seen wearing a blue and black sweatshirt and sweatpants, a red and white Jordans, carrying a black and white backpack. If you have any information regarding Nariah's disappearance or if you have any information about her whereabouts, please call the Raytown, Missouri Police Department at 816-737-6020 or the MSHP Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422. Let's get Nariah back home to where she needs to be.
Yeah. I've been checking on Raytown, Missouri Police Department's Facebook to see if she's been found yet, and not yet.
Hopefully, maybe this will help generate some tips for her, and let's get her back home.
Let's hope so. All right. And this one, of course, Dana Jane Bruce. She's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. 23 when she was missing. She'll now be 39. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance. Police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. He does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking accounts, cell phone, or a car. Again, when she went missing, she was 23. She'd now be 39. 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422 or Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see if we can't help get Dana located and back to where she needs to be. And Ellen, again, if you could get me the name of the tribute page for Dana, I could sure link it to the flyer on the page. Get you some traffic that way, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe that would help get some more interest with this one too, and see if we can get
Yeah.
information on Dana.
Yeah.
So that would be a good one to share with that part too.
Derek's playing with microphones. That was actually our last case, and now we can get into the located safes, I believe.
All right. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
A little quiet. All right. I'll go ahead and start rolling through these located safes. Just go ahead and start telling about how you found out about everything. Kind of get us through the process.
Itsiana's was one that I'd found on the Grandview, Missouri Police Department's Facebook, and they updated that she had been located safe. They never give details. They just say that she was located safe. And that's how I found out about that one, being how she was located.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, okay.
And I was notified on Hillary via text message that she had been located.
Yeah, the hail's going to slide east of us, just east of us. But
And same with Braden.
Crazy, about 20 miles north of us. So we're just, that's why I promise I'm paying attention, but we're trying to pay attention to stuff here too. But
Okay. Braden, same thing. Notified via text that he was located. And same with Jesse, notified. I actually had to ask on Jesse because I wasn't sure. Somebody commented that he'd been located, so I messaged the source that asked me to do the flyer, and they verified he was.
Generally, when you get text from somebody, do you get text from the families, or do you get text from law enforcement or someone else?
Combination. And Kaylee, that one, let's see. I was texted on that one and notified by text. And that one, how did I get notified on her? I think I was messaged on Kansas Missing Unsolved on her.
So a lot of these, do you just, people will text you? Do you ever find, sometimes you'll find out by like going to like the KBI website and everything, right?
Sometimes, yeah. That one there, I had been communicating with her mom, and her mom notified me that she had been found. That one was on, that was KBI email that I had gotten from their media. I'm on their media list. And then I verified it on Wichita Police Department's Facebook, and they updated that she'd been located.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Silver alert that,
Yeah.
everything worked out good,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad on that one. I saw that one come across the news.
This one surprised me because I'd never heard of, I didn't realize North Kansas City had their own police department, but I guess they do. And they were on their Facebook page, Serene and Marwan Dupree. And they were both on there, and Marwan was found first, and then she was found like a day or so later. So I'm glad they were both located. There's Marwan Dupree. It's funny because I looked on Google, put in Marwan Dupree missing. Some reason Google interpreted it as marijuana Dupree. I don't know why, but they did.
Oh, wow. It happens, man. That old spell check will get you
Good old
every
Google.
time.
Yeah. And that one was a combination of law enforcement and family on that one. On that one there, yeah. And Bria, that one, I think I was texted on her. She was originally missing out of Boonville, Missouri on that flyer. I've made flyers for missing here in Kansas, now Missouri. Hopefully she'll stay put. How did I find out about Sabrina Spurlock? I'm trying to remember on that one. I think somebody might have messaged me on her.
A lot of them were teenagers this week. I guess I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only a couple that were adults.
That was an email. It was an email on her. That's what that was.
Dana's page is the Dana Bruce tribute page. Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you. I'll look that up and link it to her flyer.
In the Free Zone with Norm is next on my YouTube channel. If anybody wants to, we're going to go live from there. But a great show here for tonight. That was a ton of located safes, man.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot this last week.
It's the wind's whipping pretty hard outside of the studio here.
Wow. Hopefully you guys can get through that.
Norm thinks it's
hail's going to stay east of us.
hail will stay east of us. 150 juveniles, 359 adults at the end of the show. It's like one adult was found. But yeah, good show. Everybody out there, if you're going to continue watching Back Home Media shows, if you're going to go on with your own thing, keep an eye on the weather. You never know. This stuff kind of just popped up on us. We didn't even know it was going to get this close to us. But Janine, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, before Ricky does what he does every week?
No, I enjoyed being on the show tonight. I really appreciated being able to, do quite a bit of the cases in Southwest Kansas, although any of the cases that we cover are always really important to me, but it's kind of nice to be able to focus a little bit on some of those cases for a little bit. And hopefully we'll be able to get some of those things up and going. And I will say that for the pitch for In the Free Zone with Norm, it's a great show to listen to. So if you have time, hop on over there and listen to it and catch it out, watch it. It's a great show.
I was just noticing Justice for Cynthia Renee Gonzalez. She commented Miss Wanda Dyer and Jerry McConnell are both still missing. Those are both troubling cases. They really are.
Yeah, they are.
Hopefully they find those two. It's getting kind of scary for both of them because they've been gone for so long. And of course, they found Jerry McConnell's car abandoned on a ranch, and they've been searching for her and still haven't found her. And Miss Wanda, she left on foot, but they're not sure that she possibly may have gotten a ride, and they're thinking she may have tried to make her way back to Kansas City since she used to live in Kansas City, but was now residing in Lawrence, and they know her husband's worried sick about her. I'll see if I can get those both on the show next week. Those are just
Ricky,
really
I was going to have you also next week. Norm was telling about a case in Canadian, Texas. Thomas Brown. I guess it's a kid that was missing. They found him, and it was like in 2018, but they just buried him on the 7th. So look into that for next week. It's a pretty interesting read.
Where's Thomas Brown from? Where?
Canadian. Texas.
Canadian, Texas.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one, but I'll see what I can do.
Like it's resolved. But yeah, just read into it. It's pretty interesting. You guys take your time. Me and Norman are going to get the other studio ready. Love both of you. Have a heck of a show. I mean, you had a heck of a show. We'll see y'all next week.
Okay. Have a great show, guys.
Okay. Well, thank everybody for joining us tonight. And pretty decent show. We didn't have quite as many cases, but we covered them kind of in depth for the most part. But I just want to thank everybody and say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we could cover these cases. And as I kind of touched on a little earlier, I'm confident there are people that know something about these cases, and just pray that it reaches their ears and their heart, and they do the right thing and step up and call it in, and and get some of these people found and some of these unsolved homicides solved. And I just pray until we see each other next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, keep your eyes on the weather, and have a good night. God bless, and amen.
Amen.
Back Home Media.